Chandamama Ramayan, Part 36. Upon hearing that Hanuman had killed Akshakumara, Ravana felt great sorrow. Suppressing it, he looked at Indrajit with intense fury and said, "Son, you are the foremost of warriors who conquered Indra, and you have obtained divine weapons from Brahma. This monkey has killed all the attendants. He killed Jambumali, the sons of the ministers, the 5 commanders, and your younger brother Akshakumara. Realize exactly what his strength is and fight him. Go, conquer the enemy, and return." Circumambulating his father, Indrajit took his bow and arrows, mounted his chariot, and went toward Hanuman with martial zeal. Seeing him from a distance, Hanuman roared like a lion and increased the size of his body. Then, both engaged in battle. Indrajit was capable of fighting 11,000 archers at once. However, Hanuman began to soar in the sky, dodging the arrows shot at him so they would not hit him. No matter how long they fought, Hanuman could not catch Indrajit, nor could Indrajit catch Hanuman. Seeing all his arrows going to waste, Indrajit thought, "It is impossible to kill him, it is better to capture him somehow," and for that reason, he discharged the Brahmastra. With that, Hanuman was bound and remained in a state where he could not move hand or foot. Then he remembered the boon Brahma had given him in the past. Brahma had granted him a boon so that no weapon could cause him danger. Hanuman thought that even though he was bound by the Brahmastra, Brahma, Indra, and the wind would continue to protect him. He also felt a desire to converse with Ravana. The demons approached Hanuman, who was lying motionless, and tied him with ropes. As soon as they tied Hanuman with ropes, the bond of the Brahmastra broke on its own. Knowing this, Indrajit became very afraid because Hanuman could easily break these ropes. No other weapon works upon one who has been struck by the Brahmastra. Therefore, if Hanuman wished, he could cause great harm to Lanka now. However, Hanuman did not know this fact. He did not even know that the Brahmastra bond had vanished as soon as he was tied with ropes. In the meantime, the demons dragged Hanuman spitefully, hitting him with sticks and fists, and pulled him to the place where Ravana was. Showing Hanuman to Ravana in the assembly, Indrajit said, "He is that Vanara." The prominent demons in the assembly asked among themselves, "Who is this monkey? Why did he come here? Sent by whom did he come? To see whom did he come?" Other demons said, "Kill this monkey and burn him. Let us eat him." Hanuman came forward and looked at the elderly ministers sitting below Ravana's throne and the assembly hall decorated with gems. Ravana looked at Hanuman, who was pulling the demons holding the ropes this way and that. His eyes became like live coals with anger. Commanding his ministers and pointing at Hanuman, he said, "Inquire and find out what his matter is." Hanuman was amazed seeing Ravana, his ministers Durdhara, Prahasta, Mahaparshva, and Nikumbha, and Ravana's extreme majesty and brilliance. It seemed to him that there was no wonder in the 3 worlds trembling before this Ravana. Meanwhile, at Ravana's prompting, Prahasta said to Hanuman, "Monkey, do not fear. Who sent you? The guardians of the directions? Vishnu? No matter who sent you, we will do nothing to you. Tell the truth, and we will let you go. You look like a monkey, but your influence appears very high. If you tell a lie, your life will not be spared. If you came on your own, tell us why you came." As soon as Prahasta spoke these words, Hanuman turned toward Ravana and said, "It was not Indra, Kuber, Varuna, or Yam who sent me. It was not Vishnu either. I am a monkey by birth. Mine is not a disguised monkey form. Since it is not easy to see you, I destroyed the Ashoka grove for that purpose. Then powerful demons came upon me. I killed them for self-defense. Due to Brahma's boon, no weapon can do anything to me. But with the desire to see you, I allowed myself to be bound by the Brahmastra. I have come with a royal matter for you. I am the messenger of Rama. I will tell you words that are beneficial. Listen." Sugriva asked me to tell you these words. Dashrath's son Rama, along with his wife Sita and younger brother Lakshman, came to the Dandaka forest obeying his father's command. There, Rama's wife Sita went missing. Searching for Sita, Rama came to Rishamukha and reached Sugriva. Afterward, he killed Vali and made Sugriva the king of the monkeys and bears. In return, Sugriva gave his word that he would have Sita searched for. According to that word, he sent monkeys to all directions. Among them, I am the son of the wind, one called Hanuman. I crossed the sea of 100 yojanas and came to see some signs of Sita. I have seen Sita, who is in your possession. It is not fitting for one like you, who has performed much penance and knows righteousness, to imprison another's wife. It is not possible for anyone to do wrong to Rama and not experience the fruit. It is better for you to give Sita back to Rama. It is true that you have obtained a boon of no death from many species, but Sugriva is a monkey who does not belong to any of those species. You cannot escape death at the hands of the human Rama or the monkey Sugriva. Rama would not agree, but I alone can destroy your Lanka. You wrapped the goddess of death around your neck the moment you abducted Sita. I am a diplomat. I am telling you for your own good, you cannot live while keeping enmity with Rama. Hearing these words, Ravana, in a fit of rage, gave the order to kill Hanuman. Then Vibhishan intervened and said to his brother, killing this messenger is not the duty of a king. It is not proper to harm righteousness in a fit of anger. He is not merely a messenger. Since he killed Aksha and others, he is an enemy. Nevertheless, there are punishments prescribed for one who comes as a messenger. One can cause him physical deformity, whip him, shave his head, or brand him, but one must not kill. Leaving aside the scriptures, we gain nothing by killing him. Kill those who sent him. Ravana liked this word. True, do not kill this fellow who is a messenger. We shall prescribe some other punishment. The tail is what monkeys love. Burn his tail and send him away. Light his tail and parade him through all the streets, he said. The demons wrapped cloth rags around Hanuman's tail, poured oil, lit it, and while parading him through the 4 streets, shouted, "Look at the spy." Disregarding this, Hanuman hoped he could see how the city's defense mechanisms were during broad daylight. Demon women and children flocked to see him. Some demon women went to Sita and said, "That monkey who spoke to you and left, they have lit fire to his tail and are parading him throughout the city." Sita, hearing those words, felt very pained and prayed to the fire, "If I am a faithful wife, be cool to Hanuman." As soon as Sita said this word, the flames in Hanuman's tail became even larger. But Hanuman did not feel the heat. Seeing that, Hanuman was surprised. He thought about what he should do. First, becoming very small, he freed himself from the bonds. The next moment, increasing his body, he took the iron bar at the city gate and beat all the demons who were with him. Looking toward the city of Lanka, he thought, what would be good to do now? He had already caused much damage that needed to be done to the demons. Only the destruction of the fortress of Lanka remained. It was his duty to offer the great buildings in Lanka as a sacrifice to the fire. Thinking this, Hanuman began to move over the buildings in Lanka with his burning tail. He went through all the houses of the demons fearlessly. He set fire to Prahasta's palace and jumped onto Mahaparshva's house. Lighting that house brilliantly, he then set fire to the houses of Vajradamshtra, Shuka and Sarna in order. Afterward, he lit all the houses of Indrajit, Jambumali and Sumali. He burnt the houses of the remaining prominent demons, along with their gems, except for Vibhishan's house. The wind blew to assist Hanuman as he set fire to all of Lanka. With the help of the air, all of Lanka caught fire quickly. One by one, the mansions began to collapse. It became impossible for the demons to protect their burning houses. Men, women, and children were engulfed in terror. So many perished in the flames. Burning Lanka appeared terrifying. The screams of the demons made this sight even more horrific. Hanuman looked all around Lanka once, and noticing that all areas in that city were burning, he dipped his burning tail into the sea and extinguished the flames. At that time, a great fear gripped him. Along with Lanka, Sita too might have been burnt. As soon as this thought came, Hanuman cursed himself. He thought that for one who has become angry, the discrimination between what should and should not be done disappears. He thought all the work for which he had come had turned to ashes. But immediately, courage came to him again. After the work for which he came had been successful in so many ways, Sita's death would not happen. Would the fire, which did not burn his own tail, consume Sita? That would never happen. Sita herself is like fire. What can fire do to her? While he was thinking so, he heard the Charanas in the sky speaking in wonder about no harm coming to Sita even though all of Lanka was burned. Hanuman felt supreme joy. Chandamama Ramayan, Part 36 is complete. For now, Swasti.